Hey guys, Oblivion234 here again with another Urban Rivals video. Today I'm going to be starting a series in the best 2-star cards in each clan. So I'm going to be going around 5 to 6 clans per part because otherwise the videos will be super long. But some preface to this is these are my personal opinions. You can have different favorites, and I'll be judging them based on their performance in ELO mode. So, what arena they're good up to, and that sort of thing. And this list will include no legendaries due to their difficulty to acquire. Okay. But to start, we're going in alphabetical order, so this first clan is the All-Stars. So, the two best 2-stars in my opinion are Dorothy and Augustono. But let's start with Dorothy. Dorothy is usable up to the Z Palace, which is the highest level, so that's really good. And it's got a base 7-2 stat line with no abilities and bonus. So 7-2 is slightly above average power, but below average damage. Because average power and damage for 2-star is about 6-3. So, but with the ability, she gets a +1 life per damage, max around like 15, I want to say, or something. I think it's a little higher than that. I'll have the card on screen. I just don't happen to have the card up in front of me. But yeah, so it's a 7-2. That's equivalently a 7-4 with all the life included in it. Oh yeah, also with this list I'm going to be trying to do a defensive 2-star and an aggressive 2-star, and Dorothy's the aggressive 2-star. And at best with Fury, she's a 7-8 with -2 opponent power, which is really good. She's capable of making an 8-point life gap and being able to get through with that 7 power because of the -2 opponent power. And it is, though her ability is on a appraisal, so you have to keep that in mind. It's not always, but you really want to be picking your matchup because it's a really good ability, so you don't want to match it against just any random person that they have. And Augusto, he is a base 6-2 with ability -1 opponent power and damage minimum of 2. So with his bonus included, he has -3 opponent power, -1, plus -1 opponent damage, -2. So, and he's also usable to the politic arena, which is the second highest arena, which is always good. He is pretty good as a wall because -3 opponent power and -1 opponent damage is really good. And even with his 6 power, he is going to be hard to beat most of the time because he'll knock an 8 down to 5 or 7 down to 4, and it's just going to be really hard to beat him. And he still nerfs damage too, and yeah, so that's pretty good. And he's good even without bonus. Oh, he's good even without his bonus. So he's still got -1 opponent power and -1 opponent damage without his bonus. So he still nerfs opponent power. Yeah. Okay, now on to the bangers. So the two 2-stars that I like the best of the bangers is Pearl and Little J. So I kind of want to throw in an honorable mention here because it's really close between Lil J and Doug Snop. It really comes down to personal preference. Little J is better against lower power cards because of his ability, but Doug Snop is a more aggressive card, so it kind of depends on your playstyle. But yeah, so first we'll start with Pearl. Pearl's usable up to the Z Palace. She is a base 7-1, but she has growth, damage +1. So at best, including her bonus, she is a 9/5 on turn 4, which is very, very, very good for a 2-star. That's really aggressive. But her only real downside is if they have stop opponent ability, she's just a 7/1 or a 9/1, which really isn't that good except for being a wall. And then there's Little J, who is usable up to the Politic Arena. He is a 6/3 base. With his bonus, he's an 8/3. And his ability is -1 opponent power, minimum 1. Just the minimum of 1 on this allows him to face up against, like, say, Salius, and still knocks Alias's power down to 3. And so he's really good against low power cards that have really good abilities that allow them to still get in, like Andy, LD, and such. And now going on to the Berserkers. We've got Milos and Wagner. So Milos is usable up to the Z Palace. He's a 7/2 base, and with his bonus, he's an equivalent of a 7/4. And his ability is Revenge, -4 opponent power, -4. That ability is really good because it'll knock an 8 power or a 7 power or a 6 power or a 5 power down to 4. But even still, knocking a 9 power down to 5 is still really good. So he's really easy to get through if you have Revenge. And even then, 7/4 is not a bad stat line for 2-star. And then you got Wagner, who's more defensive. He can be used as a wall because he's usable up to the Z Palace, and he's a 7/2 base. But he's a 7/4 with his bonus. But on defeat, your opponent gets poisoned. So essentially, he's an on defeat turn 1 on defeat, -3 opponent life, -1. So that's essentially the way you want to look at him, because he gets subsequently worse every turn. So you kind of want to start with him. But he's a decent wall, and even if he gets through, he still does 4 damage. So that's pretty good for a 2-star. Okay. Moving on to the Fang Pai Chang, you've got Tenak and Dao Wang. Tenak is 5/3 base. With his bonus, he's a 5/5 with -2 opponent power and damage, -1. So he goes even with a 7 power, and he has an advantage with anything under 6 power, or 6 power or under, I should say. So, and it's just the power and damage nerf here is very, very good here. So he's a pretty good defensive option. And then Dao Wang is usable up to the Politic Arena. He's an 8/1, but with all his abilities and bonus, he's an 8/5, which is a very good stat line for a 2-star. And he's resistant to damage reduction since his ability is -2 opponent life, minimum of like 1 or something. So even if one of his abilities gets canceled, his bonus or ability, he's still an 8/3, which is okay. And then I kind of want to throw out an honorable mention to Oogway. Oogway is one of those ones where if you're not running Tenak, you should probably be running Oogway. It's really kind of a toss-up on which one's better. It's just, I think Tenak's better in more situations than Oogway is, so I picked him. Okay, moving on to the Freaks. The Freaks. We got Wanold and Langoista. Yes. But Wanold is a 6/2. That's usable up to the Politic Arena. He's got the ability defeat +2 life and poison 2, -3. Really, he's only a good choice because he's one of the only defensive Freaks 2-stars. But he's still a threat even gets in because of the bonus, but otherwise he's a decent defensive card that you can just throw under the bus against a more powerful card that you don't mind getting through. And then you got Langoista, which is a 7/2 base, which has a growth +1 pills. And then, of course, poison 2, -3. And she's usable to the Z Palace. She is really good on like turn 2 or turn 3 would be the best for her because you get 2 or 3 pills back. And yeah, so she's just a really good aggressive option that you can put more pills into to get them back. So, now on to the Frozen. You've got Tormenta, who's a 7/2. Only usable up to the danger zone, but she is so good that it really performs, it's just so good that it's worthy of being on this list, even though it's usable only up to the danger zone. She's a 7/2 with +1 life per damage, max 15. But with their bonus active, she's a 9/4 with +1 life per damage, max 15. That's kind of formidable because 9/4 is hard to beat, and it's equivalent of a 9/8, and with Fury it's like a 9/12. So yeah, that's very, very, very good. And then you've got Ona with Confident Stop Opponent ability, who's an 8/2 and usable up to the Z Palace. So kind of the reason she's on this list is because even if you win the round and you don't have revenge, you still have a good ability. So she's usable after you win a round, instead of just throwing one of the ones you prefer, like say Tormenta, without the bonus out, you can use her instead. And she's got a good stat line. And I mean, if you don't have confidence, you just have a 10/4. So a 10/4 is a pretty good stat line, anyways. But that's about it for part 1 of this series. If you like the series, let me know down in the comments. If you like the video, give it a like, and if you really love the content, subscribe. Oblivion234 out.